Toastmasters. I'd like to tell you about a very special journey that I have embarked on, and I hope by the end of this presentation that you will also make a commitment to discovering and embarking on a journey of your own. My journey began last October when I enrolled in my first foreign language class that I had taken in 18 years. Majored in German and then didn't take classes for 18 years after obtaining an MA in German many years ago. Well, I enrolled at Johnson County Community College in Conversational Spanish, and my professor is absolutely phenomenal, and she is from Ecuador. Now, having a native speaker has a number of great advantages. You learn so much about the culture along with the language that you're studying. Well, one night during class, Professor Peñarera said that we could ask anything about Ecuador, her native country, that we wanted to ask, so long as we spoke in Spanish. Well, along with being totally blind myself, I'm also a certified teacher of the visually impaired. So I asked her about the condition of the blind in Ecuador. And she said that she suspected that there were very few opportunities for people who are blind and visually impaired in Ecuador in terms of equipment. Although the educational resources in terms of manpower were there, it was simply a lack of equipment. Well, I really was heartbroken at that, and so I contacted the Perkins School for the Blind, which was attended by the late Helen Keller and Ann Sullivan, and Perkins is known for international outreach. I contacted the outreach coordinator there for Latin America, and he put me in contact with a professor of the blind in Ecuador. She works for the Ministry of Education there, and I inquired about the needs of the students in Ecuador, and I was absolutely stunned to learn that there are 100 blind students studying at the University of Quito in a program that is specially designed for blind students to obtain their university degrees. What do they need? Everything. Now let me define everything for you. In this country we have talking computers for the blind, we have all kinds of different resources, but there are no talking computers. These students work with cassette recorders if they're fortunate enough to have access to one, but mainly through memory. Can you imagine getting your whole degree with nothing but your memory? Nothing to read, nothing to write with, just memory. And so a simple thing, which is a writing implement here in the United States for the blind called a slate and stylus, is very plentiful in the United States, but it's not plentiful in Ecuador. I can't imagine life without being able to read or write or communicate with oneself, taking notes and so forth, writing dates down. I can't imagine not being able to do that. All for lack of a tool that costs $6.95 here in this country. Absolutely heartbreaking. I have an iPhone in my pocket and they have nothing to write with. This is how the Slates and Styluses for Ecuador project was born. The first package arrived in Ecuador last week and I sent it March the 10th. My perspective has changed for the positive in terms of my attitude about life because of this project. So here's what I urge every one of you to do. Pick a corner, any corner of the world, and then make it your own. Here's how you go about it. Step one, pick a corner, any corner of the world. Everyone in this room has a cause and a place that you believe in. What breaks your heart? Is it starving children that you see on television? Is it heartbreaking Sarah McLachlan ad that shows the animals being so cruelly treated? Is it the veterans who are in such terrible shape when they come home? What breaks your heart? Then make yourself a game plan and do small things in a great way. Don't try to take on too much. Just do simple things, but do them well. Second thing you have to do is hustle. Put on your selling shoes, folks. I started talking to Lions clubs all over the country, and I started talking to friends about my project, and people from all over have reached out, from Kansas to Missouri to New Jersey, to help me out with this project. The low cost is a factor. If you can do something that's relatively low cost for people to participate in, and it still can make a huge difference, then that's something to go with as well. Now pick a corner, any corner of the world, and then pick a corner near home. I had some leftover canes that were too heavy to send to Ecuador because we're also paying for postage addition to the canes. So the canes were too heavy. So that was something that we could do without. So what we did was we gave the canes to people in our own backyard in Kansas and Missouri. So now they're able to enjoy the resources that would have been given somewhere else. We're able to use them in our own backyard. Be open to negative reactions. I hear we're already sending jobs abroad, and now you're sending jobs to people in other countries. Why are you doing that? Well, it's because there are no government programs in other countries. There are programs to help poor people here, and the poorest of people in this country have what the wealthiest of people in other countries do not have. Now let me show you what, for $6.95, is going to change the life of someone in Ecuador. This is a slate and stylus. Put this slate on a piece of paper, and you're able to demonstrate, you're able to write with this slate and put it here on the piece of paper. And so that's how students are able to write. And so when you change the life of an individual in any part of the world, I'm here to tell you that life is good. Thank you.